Hello there. This is just really a somewhat showcase of Solcadens damage on Apocalypse 1. I would do Apocalypse 2, but honestly, I'm too lazy to redo my teams. And my main stunner is already out of service, my main cleanser as well. But I do just want to kind of show how he compares damage-wise to the other Infernal units. So we're just going to get right into this. And right, if I remember our layout correctly here, I'm fairly certain that Diaochan was there, Aylin was there, our cleanser was in the back, which gives us normally everything we need. We have 2 platform tiles up there, 1 here, if I'm not wrong. Right. We're definitely going to want Hex to be Invig boosted. Definitely Twyla as well. Drop in our Diaochan. Drop in our Aylin. Kigiri can go up front.
An end to destruction. Let's whip them like the dogs they are.
Well, since we're doing a Solcadens showcase here, we're going to place him in range of Diaochan, not Setram. And let's Invig boost him while we're at it. And his damage is truly quite good. And usually you wouldn't be buffing him as much as the others, but I want this to be more of a neck and neck test than, you know, usual run-of-the-mill test. The interesting thing is that, especially for Apocalypse, he will nuke through phases crazy quick. And actually we're gonna, like, right? We're still in vulnerability phase, he sends it in, we gain a nice little buff to the fragments. He does do some pretty impressive burst damage, and if you toss that directly into a phase, at a full health bar, that's going to be a lot of life that just disappears. So if you pop it early on, say, a shield phase, for example, you would shred a lot of damage off right off the bat. Which is somewhat important for shield phases, because, you know, otherwise those are generally the limiting factors if those stacks do build up. Granted, now we have Kigiri and Lucius, but still, it is somewhat of a point to consider. And if we pop one off right off the bat here, his hammer goes in, that was about 15-20% of the boss's HP that just disappeared. And, you know, it's a stacked team, so we're just chewing through HP bars here, but Solcadens is actually holding up in the long run. He's 3rd damage-wise in a team that has some really not shabby damage dealers. Hex is A5, Twyla is not A5, but Twyla is disgustingly good at damage in general. But this does allow, you know, an impressive amount of burst damage. And if Kasande could just get her shit together, there we go. And one of the amusing parts with doing a full burst damage comp like this is that you do not need to bring stun units at all. You just destroy through phases and it works out. We don't have Percy, we don't have Aylin, we don't... Oh, sorry, we do have Aylin. We don't have Percy, we don't have... Oh! Apparently I built him like a wet noodle, which is okay. But you know, before we get too far here, we're probably just going to... Actually, I need to do that. I'm going to recall all the units to get the damage report now, before too much damage is dealt by the other ones. I could keep on going, but the main point here was to do a Solka showcase. And Solka does good, and we'll get to the gear after, very soon here, but the interesting part here is that he doesn't even have close to the best gear. Which, again, he probably wouldn't anyways, but, you know, for an A5 Hex with Codex, and Twyla in general, he's right behind them. Lust is, you know, kind of catching up at the end there. And obviously, you know, unboosted Setram does nothing, but that was more or less expected. Let's get to the damage report here. Alright, Solcadens was running Warlord and Soulbound Arcana. He was not even running Wicked Vengeance, right? Hex was actually fueled by quad Wicked Vengeance pieces and Soulbound Arcana. And pretty much all of them had Wicked Vengeance with at least a quad weapon. Setram did. Twyla actually did not. So she could have much better damage, but Lust did. Kigiri did not. But he still had Wicked Vengeance, which honestly on Apocalypse 1 is much better. All this to say that Solcadens is still incredibly strong for Infernal teams in PvE in general. And this more or less applies to Apocalypse 2. It's just you're skipping less phases with his ult, and you will need those stuns. But at the end of the day, if you do want some progress on Apocalypse 1, 2, Abyss, especially Abyss, or even just Guild Boss 1, you know, NM4, NM3, Solcadens is more than worth going for. But he is very niche, as he is limited kind of to that content. And I'm not going to do a full, you know, walkthrough of most of the gear, because most of the gear is, I mean, this is an Apocalypse 1 run, who cares? You could probably slap realistically any gear on this lineup and still get similar results. The healers are running Invigoration and Wings of Grace, Torador 2. That's really all there is to know about this. But yeah, cheers. You have a nice one.